Brandon Johnson's going to jail. Brandon Johnson has told the business owners of Chicago to tell ICE agents, hey, you can't park your cars right here and you can't apprehend people. I think that's kind of illegal considering you dealing with a city and state and you're telling federal agents what they can and can't do or park their cars. They're saying, hey, you can't drive on these roads because Brandon Johnson isn't telling you guys that there's a park in Chicago that they are no longer allowing the public, the taxpayers of that city, they're telling them you can't have access to this park. Your kids can't go to this park. Your seniors can't go to this park anymore because we're turning it into an immigration shelter. Brandon Johnson, and I don't have proof of this, but it just sounds like the pattern that's happening here. There were ICE agents that were surrounded by a mob. They were being rammed with cars. They called the Chicago Police Department for backup, and the higher ups said that they got orders from their higher ups, Brandon Johnson, to not go assist them, leading to some idiot who decided to ram the ICE agents with their vehicle getting fired. What else did you expect to happen? I think that Brandon Johnson is content with Chicago going down in a blaze of glory. Remember the Titanic where the ship was going down? Everybody was scrambling to get off, but the band was still playing music. That's Brandon Johnson, right? Brandon Johnson knows that he's on a sinking ship, but instead of just conceding and laying down his arms, he wants to go out in a blaze of glory. Brandon Johnson thinks he's in 300. Brandon Johnson, this isn't 300. So while the liberal media tries to spin that the people of Chicago don't want the National Guard and ICE in there, there's other media outlets and social media posts. Social media is the best place to get a lot of this information because it comes from the citizens telling Brandon Johnson, no, we want them there. The Venezuelans that are here, we want them out of here. They're going to tell you about the 4 or 5 people that got arrested that weren't supposed to get arrested, that got let go once it was verified that they weren't supposed to be arrested, but they're not going to tell you about the thousands of people who they apprehended. They're also not going to tell you how on the first day there, they found 4 missing people. Brandon Johnson has the lowest approval rating of any mayor in this country. I think it's at 5%. That means nobody but his family members are saying, hey, Brandon Johnson is doing a great job. If you look at Brandon Johnson without knowing anything about him, you're going to know he's a failure because he's a 49-year-old man wearing a mohawk. Brandon Johnson need to go to jail. Could you imagine being one of them ICE agents? No, don't even be the ICE agent. Be the police officer because there's police officers coming out speaking about this and they can't put their names out there because they don't want to get fired. But could you imagine being a police officer around the corner, chilling, bam. You just told this little kid, hey, man, pull up your pants, go back to school, and over the radio, bam. Hey, we got ICE agents calling for backup. You getting ready to head over there, 10:45, we're headed over. And on the other end of the radio, you can't go over there. We just got notified from the higher up that we can't go over there. And then you respond, nah, they surrounded, they under fire. We gonna go over there. Them our boys. We blue line. We pushed the blue line. We got to, no, we're not going over there. It's like Drago when he was in this corner and he was like, if he dies. Well, guess what? That's not how it's going to happen because the federal agents have fire. And when they release that fire, the citizens, the liberals, they don't have that type of fire to go back and forth with ICE agents. I have a question for the people who claim to put America first, but have a problem with immigration. Say you're standing at a grocery store and the line has 10 people. All the lines have 10 people in them. And you standing there with a bag of chips. Is it fair for other people to cut in front of you and you just be cool with it? What about if they said, forget it, I'm going to just steal. I'm going to just go through and nothing's supposed to happen though. That's what you saying when you saying, oh, the immigrants, they can be here. They not hurting nobody. It's not about whether they're hurting anybody. They broke the law by coming over here the wrong way. That's where it starts. Right there. Right at the foundation. Coming over here illegally is breaking the law. So anything that happens after that doesn't matter because you already broke the law. You should have stayed in line. Now, while you over here getting sent back, the line is moving and you probably lost the spot that you were supposed to be in. It's not that hard. Rules are rules. But to defend that, It's crazy. Brandon Johnson, you're going to jail. Lock him up. Chicago, do better, man. Come to the red side. It's nicer over here. It makes more sense. Democratic leadership. Whoa.